Good afternoon, friends. My name is Madhav sir, and I will be teaching you the first chapter of 9th science, and the chapter's name is Laws of Motion. See what we learn in this chapter. Here we talk about motion of an object in a straight line. What? Motion of an object in a straight line. Now, when we talk about motion, many things come into picture. Like when a body is in motion, there is something called as velocity associated with it, there is acceleration associated with it, there is displacement in the body, and there is a certain time linked with it. Now all these quantities, what? Displacement, time, velocity and acceleration are linked with each other by a formula, which these formulas are called as laws of motion. Okay, there are three laws of motion which you have to understand in this particular chapter, and they are very crucial, very important for future studies. If you take science in future, these three equations will be used again and again. So the chapter is very important for higher standards. Now, to begin with, I will be explaining you first what is motion. This I will also give examples and explain you. Motion is nothing but change in position of an object with respect to an observer or surrounding. And one thing you understand, motion is a relative phenomenon. It changes from person to person. Okay, for different person the motion will be different. Like the example which I have mentioned in the video will make it very clear. Okay, how motion is said to be a relative phenomenon. Now the second thing we understand is about the physical quantities like scalars and vectors. Actually, physical quantities are the quantities which are measured for doing experiments, like mass, time, length, temperature, area, density, volume, speed, velocity, acceleration, force, energy. All these are called as physical quantities. Now these physical quantities are classified into two parts. One are called as scalar physical quantities, and the second are called as vector physical quantities. Now what is the big difference between scalars and vectors, that I am explaining you in short, in very short. Okay, now scalar physical quantities are those physical quantities which can be understood by only their magnitude as well as units. Only their magnitude is enough to understand the physical quantity. Like I say, I went to market and brought 5 kg of tomatoes, right? Now 5 kg, that is the magnitude. You get an idea how much I have brought, right? From that 5 kg, I gave 2 kg of tomatoes to my friend. How much is left? You will say 3 kg. So simple. Now this physical quantity, which is mass, is a scalar quantity. It's a scalar physical quantity. It can be understood by only its magnitude. You'll ask me, okay, there is magnitude, what else is there? Yeah, there is one more quantity called as direction. And vectors are different. Vectors require magnitude as well as direction. That I'll explain you later, but first understand about scalars. Scalar physical quantity can be understood only by their magnitude, and there is no requirement of what? Direction. Scalars can be added or subtracted by simple algebraic methods. Understanding? In the textbook, the details are not given, but I am giving you the details, the difference between scalars and vectors. I'll give one more example of scalar. Suppose there is a room whose temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. Now I start the AC and set the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius. So the temperature of room decreases by 5 degrees. Now what is the temperature of the room? From 30 it has decreased by 5 so it becomes 25. Suppose I switch off the AC, again there is rise in temperature of 5 degrees. How much is the final temperature? 30, right? It is simple addition, simple subtraction. So temperature is also a scalar. Length, mass, time, temperature, speed, distance, all these are scalar physical quantities. They can be understood only by their magnitude. There is no need of any direction. Now I'll give examples of vectors. What are vectors? See, vectors are those physical quantities which have to be understood by magnitude as well as direction. Let's take one example. Suppose a person has started walking from point A. From point A he has started walking, and he walked a distance of 1 kilometer. How much? 1 kilometer. The question is, suppose he has traveled a distance of 1 kilometer from point A. Where is the person now? He may be over here, or over here, or over here, or even over here, or somewhere else. Can you tell me the position of the person? Impossible. Why? Because I only said that from point A he walked a distance of 1 kilometer. In which direction? That I didn't tell, right? If I say he moved in this direction, then at 1 kilometer I'll find the person. So when I mention the direction, like a person is walking towards north or a car is moving towards south, when I mention the direction, then that physical quantity will be called as vector. Understanding? Vector is a physical quantity which has to be understood by magnitude as well as direction. Students, the first topic in the chapter is what is motion. See, actually motion is a change in position of an object with respect to the observer or with respect to the surroundings. That's the correct definition of what? Motion. I repeat, motion is the change in position of an object with respect to the observer or with respect to the surrounding. Now, one thing I want to tell you, motion is a relative phenomena. Now, what is the meaning of relative phenomena? Motion is different for observers in different conditions. How to understand this? I'll give you a good example. Suppose you are traveling in this bus with your friend. Your friend and you are both sitting on the same seat inside the bus. And the speed of the bus, okay? Speed of the bus is suppose 50 km per hour. How much? 50 km per hour. If I ask you, what is the speed of your friend with respect to you? What answer will you give? The answer will be 0 km per hour. Because you and your friend are moving together with the same speed of 50 km per hour. Right? So, your friend's speed is nothing but 0 km per hour with respect to you. Correct? Now, imagine there is a car moving parallel to the bus and speed of the car is 40 km per hour. How much? 40. If I ask you, if I ask this person sitting in the car, what is the speed of the bus with respect to the car? What answer will you get? The answer will be 10 km per hour. Why? Because the speed of the bus is 50 km per hour and speed of car is 40 km per hour, and the relative speed between them is 50 minus 40, and so the driver of the car will say that the bus is having a speed of 10 km per hour with respect to the car. And now imagine there is an observer who is standing and observing both this bus and the car. If I ask this person what is the speed of the bus, he will say speed of bus is 50 km per hour. So three different persons gave three different answers. Your friend inside the bus said that her speed with respect to you is 0 km per hour. The driver of the car said that the speed of the bus is 10 km per hour, and the person who is stationary and who is observing the bus moving, his answer is 50 km per hour. The question comes, who is right and who is wrong? Actually, all the answers are correct because motion is relative. For the passenger sitting inside the bus, his neighboring passenger is at rest, so his speed is 0 km per hour. For a car moving at 40 km per hour, the speed of the bus, relative speed of bus is 10 km per hour, and for the person who is stationary, for this person, the speed of bus is 50 km per hour. Another example I can give you. Suppose you are sitting on a chair. If I ask you whether you are in motion or not, what answer will you give? You say, no, I am at rest. Because you are sitting on the chair is at rest, you will say that you are at rest. But suppose a person is in space and he is observing you by telescope. Imagine. What he will say? You are in motion. Why? Because you are sitting on the chair and the chair is on earth and earth is in motion. So for you are at rest, but for a person who is observing you from space, since you are on earth, he will say that you are in state of motion. In this way, I can explain the relative phenomena of motion. Okay? Vector quantity. Velocity, displacement, acceleration, force, momentum, all these are vector physical quantities and they require magnitude as well as direction. They cannot be added by simple algebraic methods. We require geometric methods for adding them. Okay. Now the first topic of the chapter is about distance and displacement, which I will teach you. The explanation is very simple and again with good examples I have explained you. Okay. Distance. When a body moves from point A to point B, the total path length is measured, okay, and the total path covered by the body will be called as distance. Okay, distance is the actual length of the path traveled by the body. Suppose body moves from point A to point B 10 meters and from B to A again 10 meters. Total distance will be 10 plus 10, 20. Simple. Distance is a scalar quantity. What about displacement? Displacement is a vector. Okay? Displacement is a vector. And how displacement can be understood? Again, even that I have explained using the videos. Listen, displacement is the shortest distance between the initial and final position of the body. Suppose initially body is at point A and after motion it has reached point B. Then the shortest distance between A and B will be called as displacement of the body. Again, by you watch the videos, you'll get complete idea about distance as well as displacement. So both are similar but not same. Displacement has to be understood by using what? Direction. But distance is a scalar quantity. We can only understand it by its magnitude. Both are having same units. Meter in SI system and centimeter in CGS system. There are two systems of units we have to follow. One is called as the SI system, and distance and displacement both are having same units. meter in SI system, and in CGS system, CGS means what? Centimeter gram second system. CGS system, it is measured in what? Centimeters. Now have a quick look at the board and understand what I explained you. See, as I told you, distance is the length of the path traveled by body during its motion. Okay, and distance is a scalar quantity. It is a scalar physical quantity, and units of distance, units are meter and centimeter. Okay, what is displacement? First of all, displacement is a vector physical quantity, and it's the shortest distance between the initial and final positions during motion. Getting it? So that is displacement, and units are exactly the same, meter in SI system and centimeter in CGS system. I will give you one simple example to make you understand the difference between distance and displacement. Okay, now suppose a car is at point A. Okay, now from point A it travels a distance of 4 kilometers to point B, and then from point B it travels a 3 kilometer distance to point C. Now anyone asks me how much is the total distance traveled? Here the total distance traveled will be 4 plus 3, and that will be 7 kilometers. Okay, this whatever I calculate is nothing but distance. Distance is the actual length of path traveled by the body. But if someone asks me what is the displacement of the car, for displacement I have to find the shortest distance between the initial position and final position. Now you can see carefully which is the initial position. Point A is the initial position, point C is the final position. If I draw a straight line from A to C and measure this distance, okay, this distance AC will be nothing but the displacement of the car. Here in this case, if I use Pythagoras theorem, because since this is a right angle triangle, I can use Pythagoras theorem and I get this value of AC as 5 kilometers. So you can see clearly the distance traveled was 7 kilometers and the displacement of the car is only 5 kilometers, right? So distance and displacement are two different quantities. Distance is nothing but the actual path or length of the path traveled by the body during its motion, while displacement is nothing but the shortest distance between the initial and final positions. Let us now understand the concept of speed and velocity. Suppose a car travels a total distance of 50 km, okay, in 1 hour. What is the speed of the car? Listen, a car travels a distance of 50 km in 1 hour. How will you find the speed? Speed is actually the distance traveled by body in unit time, and the speed of the car will be 50 km divided by 1 hour, that will be 50 km per hour, right? Now how we define speed? See, it's very simple. The distance traveled by body in unit time is called as speed, and the formula for finding speed is very easy. See, average speed of a body can be written as total distance upon total time. Now I will take the same example. The average speed of car, as I told you, total distance traveled was 50 kilometers and total time was 1 hour. So the velocity speed of the car will be 50 kilometer per hour. Okay, that is how I find the speed. Units of speed. Units in SI system is meter per second, and in CGS it is centimeter per second. And one more thing, speed is a scalar physical quantity. Understood? It has no direction, it has only magnitude. Now, if you understand speed, then understanding velocity is also easy. So it's a simple logic. Speed is concerned with what? Linked with what? Distance. While velocity is concerned with displacement. How we define velocity? The displacement which occurs in unit time. The displacement which occurs in unit time is called velocity. In short, the formula will be what? Velocity equal to displacement of the body upon time. Getting it? This will be the formula for what? Velocity. Here the speed, we mentioned distance upon time. In here velocity, it will be displacement upon time, and as I told you, displacement is a vector quantity, so velocity will also be what? A vector quantity. The main difference between speed and velocity is speed is scalar and velocity is vector. The example I am giving you, understand it. If a car is traveling at a speed of 50 km per hour, what I have mentioned is speed. But if I say a car is traveling at a speed of 50 km per hour towards north, okay, I give you direction, then that will be called as velocity. So simple. Okay, units of both speed and velocity are same, meter per second in SI system and centimeter per second. So this is the definition, formula and units of velocity. Okay, understood the difference between speed and velocity? Speed is scalar, velocity is vector. Rest all things are exactly the same. Okay, now you understand what is meant by uniform motion and non-uniform motion. Okay, if a body covers equal distance in equal intervals of time, what I am saying, if a body covers equal distance in equal intervals of time, the motion will be called as uniform motion. Suppose a car is traveling on a highway, express highway. It is maintaining a constant speed of 80 km per hour. Then that car will cover equal distance in equal intervals of time. That motion will be called as uniform motion. But tell me, in city traffic, do you expect uniform motion of a car? No. Again and again we have to apply brakes, the velocity decreases, again the speed increases. This will not be called as what? Uniform motion, because in traffic the car covers unequal distance in equal intervals of time. I repeat, when a body covers unequal distance in equal intervals of time, the motion will be called as non-uniform motion. Getting it? So this is the difference between what? Uniform motion and non-uniform motion. In uniform motion the speed is constant, in non-uniform motion the speed changes. Okay.